So, sounds like today isn't the best starting of our days. That was a bad intro for me. Sounds like we're both having some rough
we're
days.
keeping it. Yeah, we're keeping it. We're powering through this. We each have some difficulties, but we're both managing. I don't know if I can put another Band-Aid on top of this Band-Aid. Don't look at this box here. Just ignore it. It is sensitive.
Listen,
It's probably not as sensitive as I give it credit for, but we're there.
yeah. As such, seeing how today is going swimmingly well, what is contributing to our mood currently? You are creating a NAS system. Do you mind sharing with the class how that's going?
Okay. You'd think that, hey, putting together a computer would not be so hard. Just get some hardware components with a OS on it, slap it together, be done. So, after getting all the pieces and 2 power supplies, putting this thing together, not being able to test it out with my IT friend, it doesn't work. We don't know if the board is dead or if the power supply is gone. Figure it out. All right. We got a separate Wi-Fi card, but it's not going in the NAS, it's going in my computer. It has 2 Wi-Fi cards now. Why? Because we're doing the dumbest shit ever and connecting the NAS directly to my computer using the Wi-Fi card there in order to beam it to the router in order to beam it back to my computer. If that sounds like some fuckery, it's because this whole thing had to work without the router in the same room. And if that sounds like it's impressive, it took some hacking of the matrix in order to use. My friend had to take over my computer with their work software. They work at a college. And quite literally, after a few hours of messing with it, it finally works. And after seeing everything that we went through, it would have been easier to defend myself in the court of law in a criminal accusation than to figure this thing out myself.
So, I have a question. I have a follow-up.
Okay.
Why didn't you guys just buy a cheap router and make a private, non-internet based network so your NAS could communicate with your computer?
That is another thing that we thought of in order for it to work. Do a mesh network with Asus routers. However, I didn't have that at the time. Also, this wireless card that I shoved into this computer, the install software for the drivers just froze my computer. Couldn't figure it out after an hour and a half. So I found through my many computer boxes, just a USB network thumbstick that is still in my computer that this NAS has to go through in order to beam out, in order to beam back.
Oof.
So now I have a little thumb drive, Wi-Fi thumb drive that I'm pretty sure is going to burn out if I use it for what I want to use it for.
Double oof. If it makes you feel better, I woke up and I saw my computer has betrayed me and updated to Windows 11. I'm so sad. Some of my files don't work anymore because I'm a coder and I wrote them like the dweeb I am.
Oh, I wouldn't have thought of that being a problem until it is. But after last night, I don't have any doubts that anything can be a problem when it relates to a computer. Oh yeah, after my IT friend used their work computer to connect into this PC and then it ended, it gave me that prompt that you saw.
Oh, that's why I was like,
thank you for using the University of blank blank remote support portal. Like, please.
That's
please
funny.
Give us your survey. How did you like your services done by blank blank?
You want to know what's so funny? I almost went there.
Oh, really?
I almost went there for a different master's because that school is known for, I'm not going to spoil it, for their mining and engineering. And seeing how I've been working with some mining people, one of them was like, we would pay for your master's if you went into mining because we need data specific engineers for this project. And I went, more school? No. I already have 2 degrees and none of them are doing anything for me. Christ.
So yeah, unfortunately, I do have a degree in geology. Kind of wanted to save the world, and it turns out there's no money in it. There's money in destroying the world. Oh God. But yeah, can't save the world. It just railroads you to just hate life if you try.
I mean, think saving the world is a noble goal if that's your only goal in life, and as such you become like a worker for like Doctors Without Borders, or I forget what are like the half of the Christianity groups or like Islamic groups, or like, you know, those religious groups that go around trying to help out. Granted, they always have an agenda, but yeah, no, I mean, it is a lifestyle. It's just a very, very restrictive lifestyle in some sense because of the monetary things.
Okay. Free travel, no air conditioning.
Free travel, where to? If we told you, you wouldn't be traveling there with us.
We don't know how to pronounce these places.
We don't know how to pronounce these places, and yes, there will be guerrilla warfare. Good luck.
Now, is that guerrillas or is that modern warfare with guerrilla tactics?
We will let you find out when we land.
Roll of the dice.
Roll the dice. And unfortunately, we do not have 100 men.
Oh gosh. I'm glad that's making the rounds.
Dude, it's the male version of the woman's would you rather be alone in the woods with a man or a bear? But this is like the masculine version.
What? I haven't heard that one actually.
You haven't heard about the debate online that, granted, it's a little old now, but it's like there was this question that was going around. And basically, it was people asking women, if you were alone in the woods, would you rather be alone with a man or a bear? And the majority of women, myself included, said bear. And
okay.
The internet basically went, what? Why would you choose a man? A man's so much safer. A man, blah, 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 blah. And then we're just like, you sure about that?
You sure about that? I knew what was coming.
Yeah, so there was a big debate there where basically it was almost kind of like a litmus test of like who understands empathy and who doesn't.
Okay.
Where it's like, yeah, if it was my brother or my dad or like a guy that like I trusted, yeah, no, duh, I'm gonna choose them over the bear. But the question posed was a man. I don't know who this man is. I'm gonna choose Smokey the Bear. And if Smokey the Bear decides that I'm his cub's dinner, well, at least I know my body went to a good cause.
Wow. And who knows, the bear might be a panda.
Okay, to be frank, my Asian ancestry will only make me a stronger target. Panda would just lock eyes on me and be like, you are the captain. And I just have to start running to like the Asian version of like the James Bond theme, trying to make my way through the woods, and a racially motivated background beat.
You know, you said something. The Asian version of James Bond. Is there an Asian version of James Bond? I have no idea.
I forget what series or which ancient martial artist, not ancient, but like famous martial artists back in the day. If it was either Bruce Lee or Jackie Chan, or even Michelle, I forget her last name right now, Young. But like, you know, they always had like James Bond, sort of a thematic sound. I forget which one was the most similar in like the concept of James Bond.
Right, okay.
There's also a Filipino martial artist. Dude, Filipino martial arts, like choreography and fighting, is brutal. There isn't really any music. It's just a bunch of people breaking their backs.
Ooh.
Yeah, no. Like, if anyone has the ability and is willing to do so, watch Asian fighting films, specifically those from like the islands or more of like the specific Pacifics. Those guys, oi. You are a stunt guy once. Yeah, it's brutal because they don't have access to like the more high-end CGIs and like ropes and like wires and stuff like that. So they do commit more often. And personally, you can tell.
Yeah. Safety.
What a concept.
What's that? Yeah. Who needs that? Apparently, I did see a bit of Jackie Chan's like film history and how they're
Rush
when
Hour?
he did make other films, other foreign films, like he did his own stunts, and stunts is kind of not a correct word. He just threw himself into danger.
Yeah.
Without a line, just fell through a 3-story building and had to do it a few times.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So circling back around, because I do want your answer on this. 100 men versus 1 gorilla. Where's your stance?
100 other men versus a gorilla. No, I don't know what the actual question is. I've just heard 100 men versus a gorilla. Like,
Okay, so let me
one
tell
on
you
one?
what it is. Basically, do you believe 100 men can take on one gorilla?
Is this at the same time or lining up? Or no information given?
No information. Same thing with the whole man versus bear thing. It's however your mind extrapolates the question and your answer and justification for it.
Well, okay. I'm going to say 100 men. It's just, you tire out the gorilla. They may have incredible strength. They use more of their muscle mass per moment than humans do. They also tire out faster because of it. We are built for endurance as humans versus the other animals in the animal kingdom. Hey, a good example is there is a race. I don't remember the distance, but I am just going to say 10. It was 10 miles. See who can get to the finish line first. Horses and riders on horseback, or people, and they had to change it from 10 miles to 10 kilometers so it can be more fair for the horses.
What?
Horses may be fast, but they have a thing of overheating. They have to slow down, they have to stop, they have to vent. Humans do not. We are built for endurance. It's quite literally the invincible snail. Like,
oh yeah, that question.
Yeah. It never stops. It never stops. We are the snail. Okay? That's how we went hunting. We don't stop. You can run away from us faster, but we don't stop.
Okay. So, I actually have a different stance on that question, and I think a lot of people do. But here's my reasoning why I don't think 100 men will win against one gorilla. I don't think 100 men are going to be able to sync together and work together. I think one guy is going to get hit really, really hard. He's not going to come back up. And half of the boys are going to go, nah, good luck, soldier. I'm out. Like,
yeah, well, preservation, same with gorilla. I mean,
I know, but I'm just saying the numbers won't, like, we're not, when we talk about 100 men in this theory, it's not 100 men who are like special ops or like military or like they have come to the conclusion that, like, yeah, I'm willing to die for my brothers. Maybe one of them is Joe from IT, and nobody likes Joe from IT because Joe from IT makes jokes that nobody understands if they don't translate it from binary. Like,
oh my god,
you know what I mean? Like, that's the type of thing. Like, I wouldn't trust 1,000 girls versus one bear, or not even one bear. Sorry, one gorilla. I'll be like, Kathy's going to betray us all. Look at her. She's gonna go and flip sides immediately.
So, oh my gosh. So, if we have some sort of it matters on so many things. Is it just
I know, but that's so fun. Like, that's why I love these scenarios, is because they're so limited that our brains, the way that we think, will help us extrapolate extra information, and that tells you so much about a person.
Right. Like, everyone lock in your belts together. We don't have to get close to this gorilla. We can grapple it without being close to it.
Yeah. Like, you imagine good male camaraderie, and I just imagine incels being forced to work with gym bros and going, that's not a good idea.
Is this on his home turf or our home turf? Like, it's a
who knows? It may be jungle. It may be on the space station. I don't know, man.
Oh.
This may be a really screwed up version of Squid Game 5.0.
Yeah, if it's at a space station, no one's living.
Yeah. Like, another thing too, are we talking young men who are like from like the MSI or like, you know, the Green Berets or like, you know, whatever special forces, or are we talking about grandpa?
Or this is young men from the YMCA.
Oh no, God's not gonna save you on this one.
Young men.
Run.
There's a gorilla over there. I said young men.
I know that you're scared.
Right. This is awful. What are we doing?
Trying to feel better about our days by impossible scenarios.
Thinking of other people having worse days.
No. Let's be honest. Out of those 100 men, there's going to be at least one guy that says, this is the best day of my life. I can prove myself to my wife. There's going to be at least one guy who's going to be put into like an impossible scenario or an apocalypse or is wishing for such a scenario to happen so they can in their mind justify I can finally go all out and they're all out lasts for less than 5 seconds. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yes.
Like the
There
doomsday
is a
guys who like
Yeah, exactly.
they buy out a canned
Uh,
beans and all the canned goods and then you look at them and you just ask them one question. How many pair of socks do you have?
And then you see their blank expression like I haven't thought of that, but they didn't say it out loud. But if they don't answer, they're not wrong.
Yeah. For the viewers, why I said socks, it's because if you don't have clean, dry socks, and this is a big thing that happened with our Vietnam deployment, your feet get screwed very quickly.
If you
Like,
don't have feet, are you defeated?
oh, absolutely, you're crawling at that point, or you're putting a bullet between yourself.
Oh boy.
But yeah, no, like socks matter. Like any your appendages need to stay clean and dry. And what always wraps around the appendages that allow you to move? Socks. Don't mess with socks,
Oh,
man. Get good
man,
socks.
I love wearing moss socks and getting defeated.
Yeah, I love like just imagine just you know when you cross a river or like when you're hiking or something and your feet get wet, how uncomfortable that sensation is of wet socks squishing every step.
I hate that you brought this up. Not because I walk through water, but when I go to these conventions, I have some shoes, some very special shoes. They're normally extremely expensive. However, I found them on AliExpress for $50.
Haha, nice.
And I put some insoles in them, some hard insoles. For some reason, they squeak as if they were wet. And it's loud in hallways, which when I go to conventions is the hotel. People can hear me from like anywhere in these hallways. And when I'm following guys or gals or whoever they may be, and they look back at me and they're like, they're obviously looking at my shoes because I'm right behind them. I go, hey, don't worry. These are my ninja shoes or something, just something off. And they all get a giggle.
Uh,
But
I
they are extremely loud and they haven't gotten any better. And I don't know why. They should not be that bad. Jeez.
That's very interesting. That reminds me of a pair of shoes I really, really love, but I can't wear them as often as I want to because it makes me feel self-conscious. Because they sound like I'm a horse walking. You know the clicking, like the clicking of the
Like,
heels.
yeah.
And I'm just like,
Why do they do that?
I don't know, but every time I walk in them, I hear the click clop, click clop, click clop, and I'm just like, oh no. I don't know if it's
Well,
my walking
uh,
pace. I don't know it's the way I place my feet. I don't know if it's the way that like the heel because it's not like a true heel because I can't walk in real heels for like past 30 minutes. I will collapse and I will cry on the ground like the coward I am. But I like to feel a little, normal height. So I do like to put a little bit of a boost. These are my boosty booties, as you could say. And just because of that difference in elevation, they don't sound like heels, they sound like horse feet. And I'm just like, why?
crazy. Are they hard soles?
The heel is in the very back. So
Oh,
it's steel pointed and heel on the back because it's a work boot.
oh, okay. Well, okay, that makes a little more sense. Anyways, since you're Marshmallow,
Eh.
I don't know what to call this
Nobody
creation.
does. Nobody does.
Not even the creator.
The creator wanted, well, I mean, the creator did go for the vibe of uncompleted sketch, so nobody actually knows what this character was meant to be. So it works in my favor, it also works against me, because how do I define this besides,
Right. Well, that's why I said you have like Bugs Bunny energy, like
what's up, Doc?
cartoon powers. That's that's how we get your truck amber and so on.
Oh, yeah. Oh, actually, okay. I have another question for you. I feel like today is going to be my questionnaire.
Okay.
What is the weirdest compliment you have ever gotten?
Weirdest compliment.
Weirdest or most frequent compliment that you didn't think was a compliment, or like a compliment that you don't
Oh,
really.
I got one.
Okay.
So, when I was new to streaming, back 2015, 2016, I was streaming art, and it really wasn't the art that was the subject. It was like my commentary. I had my camera on. I had my, I'd do stuff. It'd be entertaining. And someone said, "Hey, you're the discount Markiplier," and I had no idea who that was at the time. And when I looked up at it, I'm like, oh, it's that guy that I saw on Tumblr once with the GIF set of him moving his eyebrows. Eventually, I found out that he is a live streamer that is also very entertaining. I'm like, okay, this is a compliment, not a derogatory term of some sort. Like, okay, so yes, I've been called the discount Markiplier. Oh, also I've been called the pale Morgan Freeman.
Nice. For me,
all right, how about yourself? What is the
myself.
strangest compliment?
This isn't, I want to say the strangest, but this is the most frequent compliment I get, which I think is strange. Also, I don't know what it says about me. If this is the thing that everyone first like notes or acknowledges, my voice.
Okay.
Like when I was in high school, when I started before I started pursuing radio, the person that was walking me through the technical school at the time was like, "You should apply for radio. You have the voice for air." And I went, "Is that because I don't have the face for broadcast?" And she said, "I'm not going to answer that."
Yeah, because that's usually the connotation. It's like, you have a voice for radio because you don't have anything else going for you.
But yeah, so that happened. And then I went to college, and then my professor's like, "You have a voice for podcast." And I went, "Where's this going?" And then my first corporate job, I get, "You have a voice for internal marketing videos." Oh, and before that, I had, "You have the voice for a TED Talk or a keynote speaker for South by Southwest." And I'm just like, am I just corporate lady?
Corporate lady.
Dude, is my voice to like just what you would consider to hear for like any internal marketing or like TED Talk voice or like academia, just polite posh or whatever it's called. And then I joined a friend's server, the friend that you introduced me to, and he turned to me and said, "Can you play Angry AI Lady?" And I went, "Of course."
Yes. Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about now.
And I'm just like, do I, you know how like some voice actors, I don't consider myself a voice actor, but like how some voice actors are able just to sound like different people because, they're voice actors, different accents, different inflection, different kind of like gruff. And then there's me, where it just, I can go from person to, "I have no emotion. Hello, welcome to the AI age." I just have person and robot.
I now want to see like a computer-headed Amber.
Beep boop, I'm coming after you. But yeah, that is the most consistent compliment. I think it's a compliment. I hope it's a compliment because that's the one thing that everybody notes to me more often than not is, "I like your voice," or "Your voice sounds nice," or "You've done radio, haven't you?"
Well, you have.
I have, I know, but it's that kind of thing where it's like, even I was talking to a friend last night, where they're basically like, yeah, you do have the voice. I'm like, what do you mean the voice? What is the voice? It's just
Have another example of the voice ready when you tell me I have the voice of the voice.
yeah, like I don't know. That's always the compliment most often that I get. Not like, "I like your eyes, I like your smile," or like, I like your work ethic. If anything, people are more scared about the work ethic part. But it's always like, "You got a nice voice." I'm like, thank you, question mark.
They're like, "Yeah, that voice. I haven't done anything.
Yeah.
I'm questioning life."
Some people have tried to explain it to me and they're like, "You just sound warm." And I'm like, what the f does warm mean?
What does blue mean?
Yeah, I'm just like, what? What does warm mean? And to this day, I don't know. I don't know what people mean when they say you sound warm. I'm like, is it because I live in the desert? Do I just radiate off heat? Like, what?
Apparently, the sunshine just enriched your voice.
I am Sunflower.
You are sunflower. Hear me roar.
Hear me roar. But yeah, that's the weirdest compliment I get is I well, again, it's not weird, I think. It's not but it's not a very common compliment is, you have a nice voice. And I go, explain yourself.
Yeah. Actually, I do still kind of have a problem with my own voice, and I do get compliments on it as well. It's just, I don't know. I don't like my voice. Well, I like it. I guess I don't hate it as much as I used to. And that's good because I'm editing these videos.
Yeah, yeah. No, it took me a while to get used to it. I never hated my voice, but the first time I listened back to it, I was like, why do I sound deeper?
You went through your second renaissance. I don't know.
No, but like, I don't know. When I first started like editing my own content or like listening back on air, I was under the impression I would sound like, konnichiwa, or something like some dumb Asian bullshit stereotype. Just, I don't know. I didn't know like how I truly sounded. And then I listened back and I hear hello. And I went, oh no.
Yeah, you're fulfilling your mother
Irrational fear.
Yeah, your irrational fear, that's the one.
It's so funny because like again, they're not wrong.
Ouch. I should move that.
You good?
I just stepped on the corner of the bigger power supply that doesn't fit into this thing but totally works while the other one didn't, but it was just a missing connection.
Okay. But yeah, no, it just, I don't know. The irrational fear thing, it's funny, but it's also like too many things fall into place. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Kind of like that perfect day of yours.
Ah, we're getting back on track. What is your perfect day?
My perfect day, if I have to come up with one on the fly here, yeah, it would be at a convention, the day that I perform on the main stage. Yeah, that's about as far as I got. A successful main stage performance, because, oh my gosh, do I have panels? I do many, but some of them are wildly successful, some of them are somewhat successful, but I've never had a wildly successful one on stage. Actually, I have, and it was at Mare Fair, and I don't want to talk about that one, but I did make $250.
Nice.
In people giving me tips.
Love that for you.
That was cool. That was unexpected. Anyways, that is my short answer.
Okay. My perfect day, kind of to keep it brief as well, is the day I am able to go and adopt my kid and bring them home. I want to always be creating stuff. I always want to be making as much as I can. And if those works do influence the world to any capacity, holy cow, that would be phenomenal. But what I've realized really early on, which I'm grateful for, is that ultimately doesn't matter as much as being able to change somebody's world. And I think there's already so many kids out there that it feels a little wrong for me just to bring in another when I can give a home to somebody who's already here. So my perfect day is basically being in a financial and social and economical position in which I can go to the adoption center and be like, I want to adopt my child. And they'll be like, okay. And I'd be like, yes, where's forms?
Where is forms?
So that's my perfect day is, yeah, to become a mom. And then hopefully I don't go to bed hearing the ominous ticking of a clock. As I have finally fulfilled the mother role of whatever anime series my kid is part of.
Oh, that clock, your doom clock.
My doom clock, the clock that starts the second I get mom status, the clock that goes, we are still creating the intro song, but once it's done, you will know. It will be your form of Jumanji. But
okay.
Even if that irrational fear does prove itself to be real, which I hope it's not, that would be one hell of a way to go. I still am willing to take that clock because I would still have experienced my perfect day.
Okay.
Oh, I'm so gonna die the anime mom death. I'm gonna get hit by a truck. I'm gonna get hit by a truck.
Unless you become the truck.
Beep beep.
So,
Oh, what a nightmare.
So I do have a question. A perfect day.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't could it be repeatable?
It could. The thing about the perfect day question is it gives you a more tangible goal to go towards. It's more cohesive and more coherent because, well, we experience a day every day, so it's much easier to imagine a possible day. Whereas, for example, a bucket list or, a kind of like last 5 things thing, they are more like objectives or experiences that will enrich our lives, but will not help us define what we want from our lives. Whereas a day is the encapsulation of everything up to that point of this is how we want our lives to look. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah. So for me personally, after I experience my perfect day, I honestly don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know what, the latter half of my life would look like. But I do know that I will be happier. And that in itself, I think is worth continue going forward with. Because I have my kid.
Okay. So I actually do have a answer.
Okay.
You said, what will the latter half of your life be? Well, going up.
Yeah. But like that's what I mean. Like that's another thing too that I like about the perfect day thing because it forces you to think about your life before you think about it on your deathbed. Like on your deathbed, you're done. It's your deathbed. But the perfect day is once you've experienced that, you still most likely have time to go, "Oh wait, I can do more." And I think that's a very empowering thing, not scary thing because it's like there's more. I was able to accomplish this and I can still keep going. Life hasn't ended. And I think that's a very beautiful realization to be able to experience is, oh, there's still more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I think it's better to set goals where things will continue afterwards. You just don't like, for example, this podcast idea here, 101 episodes. It's a very arbitrary number that we came up with, but on the 101 episode, we sit down and go, do we want to continue? Like that is a goal, but it's not the end. And I think that's a very beautiful thing because it's like we give ourselves like a line that we can cross to say that we've accomplished it, but we don't have to kill it.
Right. All right. I forgot that was the goal. I was excited at the moment. I said yes, I do agree to it. That is a goal. I do want to reach that. There is no change there. However, while thinking about this, I did think, hey, if we reach episode 100, I want to do a thing. And I won't tell you because it'll be a surprise eventually.
Okay. Do you want it to be episode 100 or episode 101?
Well, I have something for episode 100. We will decide whether to continue at 101.
Got it. All right. I'm excited to see. Actually, how many episodes? No, this is not the time to check, but
7.
Nice. Oh, we have a few comments too. We should respond to those.
Oh, what? We have comments?
Yeah, we have comments. I didn't touch
Where?
them because I wanted you to be able to see them too. But yeah, we got somebody who commented on the video back, like the actual YouTube video, and then we had somebody who commented on one of our shorts already, which is really nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
we've amassed a small classroom of people, and the teacher in me is going, yes, yes, yes.
All right. So the hello old friend intro, I see 3 comments. Okay. Well, I see the number 3. I haven't seen what they are.
Actually, you know
this
what?
is the first time I'm looking at them.
If you want, let's make this section now at, 9 o'clock, going over the comments we have so far and responding to them.
There we go. That would be good to know before. We can do that next time. How about we do what we can this time?
Got it.
That has been the mantra for this podcast. Let's
we'll figure
do
it out.
that, but next time. No. Okay, so you're right. I do see one. I recognize one. I do know Yedrick.
Nice.
V. Roscoe. It's Von Roscoe. That is a pirate name, by the way.
That is did not know that.
Yeah. Anyways, Yedrek V. Roscoe says, "Stay a while and listen. I see what you did there." Side-eye emoji. I'm glad you did. That is a... I didn't think that that would become a relic of video game past, but it seems that it is going that direction. How sad. It's from Diablo 1, no less.
Ah, I hate to disappoint you. I did not know that reference.
That's okay. Like I said, it is becoming arcane.
For me,
All right.
the comment I
yeah.
recognize is, heck yeah, welcome back. Can't wait to see more from. Honestly, somebody at this point, okay, I'm gonna look straight at the camera. I'm still talking to you, but I need this to be directed at this individual. Mikuyo, are you a bot? You've been one of my, if not the best supporter I've ever had since 2019, 2018-ish time period. This individual has been with me for more than I think, like, my college experience.
Oh, Jesus.
I have disappeared and reappeared like a really bad mold infestation, and this person is just like, yeah, you're back in my house. Incredible. Mikuyo, I cannot verbalize in 3 minutes or even 3 hours how grateful and shocked and a little scared I am by your persistency.
Well, when you got fans, they do care.
I know it's a wonderfully scary feeling, I will say, because it's like, oh, people remember you.
I will explain a thing later about fans, but anyways, we can continue.
Yeah, and then the last comment, the one who's the oldest comment, would you like to read it for us?
From Lightning Doyle 21, this is going to be great! Double exclamation point, or no, that's not interrobang, that's an exclamation point and a question mark. Regardless, this will be great. This is already great. You just haven't heard us yet. Because we have yet to post. We have 7 whole, we are in the process of making 7 whole recordings. We have one that's ready to throw out there into the wild and be consumed. This is a little aggravating because of so many technical issues, but this is the technical issues episode. That's what's going on. Anyways, yeah. It's on the way. It exists. This NAS actually has a place of storage that I can get to now. It's jank, but it works.
Incredible.
But yeah. Honestly,
do you know who Lightning is?
I don't know Lightning.
I don't know Lightning either.
Hey, Lightning.
Hi. Oh, this is strange.
Well, okay, it might be a friend of mine. I just don't know what they go on YouTube.
I see.
Oh, right, but
yeah,
is
we have comments to do.
We do have comments. Look at that. Videos. Can we sort by comments? No, we can't. Shorts? Can we do by comments? Oh, there's one with 2.
Oh, where? Who? What?
Amber's superpower productivity.
Oh, no.
So, hey, 4 hours ago. Sweet. From Yedrick V. Roscoe. Ooh, that's me 100%. I bet it is. And I bet I know from what particular direction, too. I won't oust them.
That's fair. But, like, I think what would be nice is to, do you want to respond to these, or do you want me to respond to these?
Either. We got to go to page 2 in order to see all the shorts, but some of them are, like, deprecated, you know? But yeah. Regardless. I think those were all the comments. I don't see any more. Yay! This progress. Is incredible. So hey, back to an old short that we have. We don't know, like, how far this rocket ship is going to go because the fuel is the individuals, and we have yet to. I guess we're going to see at least a start of interest. We'll keep going. We won't stop. If I know Amber, the only time they stop is when
a lot has happened.
When the most extreme of circumstances has arose.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Another question that I want to propose to us. How long do you want to stay pursuing content online?
I don't think I have a point to stop yet. I would like to continue.
Okay. I have, oh, go ahead.
When something arises that changes, I have to reevaluate. But for right now, as things are going, even if I move, even if I change lifestyles in ways that I want to change lifestyles, I don't think that I want to stop pursuing content online. There we go.
Nice, that's fair. I have come to a very important realization. I've come to this realization a few times, I won't lie. But this time it hit me like a ton of bricks. I've always loved making things. I've always loved making content. And my big thing was it would always have to be secondary because I have to get a job. I have to be academically profound. I have to, get my degree. I had to be the responsible older sibling. Right? For a very long time, and I still do to some extent, don't know how to live for myself. I've always been in charge of taking care of my little brother, or in some sense my parents, because, immigrant kid. And a very good friend sat me down yesterday and basically went, you always come back to this. So I know this is for you. Because what self-respecting Asian mom and Middle Eastern dad will turn to their kid and go, pursue YouTube?
Ah!
That said, so I'm definitely running with this. This is the third time I'm back. At that point, you have to hit yourself with the salmon of truth. You like this. You like making content. And I'm going to try and run with this as much as I possibly can. But I'm scared that the day I get an opportunity, I would be reconsidering this again. Because I don't know how far I can run with this. The only hard truth that I am able to assert at this moment when it comes to content is the day I'm able to adopt my kid, I think it's the day I'm going to go dark as a content creator personality. I wouldn't stop making things. I wouldn't stop making, if at that point, books or comics or maybe even TV series or animes. That would be so cool. But as somebody who posts about their lives, that stops the day I get my kid, because I am somebody who believes strongly that we don't make people into content.
And you've told me that, and I do believe you, and I thought that might be the reason. That is admirable.
Yeah. And it's going to be already so hard, rightfully so, of course, to, gain this kid's trust because they grew up in the system. I don't want to adopt a baby or a young child. I want to adopt people who are aging out of the system, get them the chance that they deserve. So they would have been going through a lot more and experiences that, will rightfully have them distrustful of me. And it is not fair, nor is it right in my eyes to adopt somebody and immediately go, hey, I have a camera. You see what I mean? So the day I adopt my kid, I think is the day I'll do the Jenna Marbles thing and walk away. Or I might have even already walked away at that point. Maybe do that thing where I create a year's worth of videos and then have them all scheduled. And then in the background just be living life. But I think at the point where when I'm able to adopt and when I'm able to bring my kid home is the day I stop uploading about me specifically. Maybe I'll just kind of become somebody who posts on comics or but me as a person, as a personality, that I will close that chapter simply because now there's somebody else in my life and they didn't consent to having their chapter broadcast to the world.
Now you finally said something that I wanted to touch on, and you brought it up now. What if they do consent?
I think
that would be a talk with them.
That would be a talk with them. But from where I stand in this hypothetical is I think that's a wonderful thing that they feel comfortable with themselves, that they want to put themselves out there. That said, I would like at least a year of them being offline with me so we can figure out our dynamic. So we can figure out, their new life. So they can, figure themselves out a little more as a person. Because when I started creating content, let's be honest, I started creating content when I was a kid. I started creating content in college, even before college to some extent. And looking back at that content, I am proud. I am proud of the production, of the clear passion I put into each video. But I had to take numerous of those things down because it would hinder my ability to do anything in corporate or academically, which it was painful because I love those videos and I know people love those videos. One of my best performing videos I had to take down because of the content covered. And I had to take it down when my name was published on a textbook, right? Because the people who help write that textbook, they will be associated with me, and it won't be fair that their hard work gets degraded by this past content that I am proud of personally, but does not reflect greatly in an academic sense. That's the thing about, being an online content creator or anybody in like entertainment specifically. It's that even if you are putting on an act or, it is fantasy or, like satire or exaggerated, it is especially hard nowadays to not associate that with the person. It's hard to see somebody online and then see them in a job interview and not already have some form of a conceived idea of them.
Mm-hmm.
And if my kid wants to go online, I think that's a wonderful thing. I think, it shows, a sense of entrepreneurship. It shows that they want to be heard. My worry is, do they really know who they are? And would they be okay possibly hindering future opportunities by posting content that they're proud of, but the world will use against them? So it's more of, I want them to be prepared. I want to sit down with them. I want to walk them through making videos. We'll make like an unlisted channel or a private channel. And then once we are ready, I would love to sit with them and hit publish on the first one.
There we go.
But I am wary about immediately saying yes because somebody should have told me no when I first started.
I think that's a dangerous thing. To try things, even if they're wrong, is in itself the best way to learn. Without the worst parts of my life, my experiences, I would not be where I am now. I'd be completely in a different place. Without me breaking my arm, or with me breaking my arm, I didn't go into the military. With me having the moving and relationships that I did, I wouldn't be a brony or a furry. So absolutely everything has enriched me to become the one I am. And without adversary, living like a king, wanting not. That breeds to the simple trope of like, oh, the prince that, or the royalty that may, cry and lose their shit over getting a scratch while holding a rose.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that perspective. I am a big proponent and believer that the best teacher is failure. That said, I don't listen to that teacher that often because that teacher scares me. But I truly do agree with the message, fail fast, get up stronger. Because you don't know what you don't know until you fall flat on your face. But at least you fail forward, right?
Yeah.
That said, so I want my kid to fail. I want them to start that YouTube channel, and I want them. No, it's because if they're able to, like you said, weather that storm, they're going to be fine, right?
Yeah, if they can get back on YouTube 3 times.
Yeah, they're going to be fine. But the thing that I know as true, and I think you may know as true, is that the internet it's a very hard place to earn redemption. It's a very hard place to get a second chance. It's a very hard place to not have your past be held against you every single time, right? It's hard to be allowed to grow. And sometimes the only way to grow is you have to remove the older portions of yourself online, not because you're not proud of them, not because you can look back with fondness, but because somebody's going to see it and somebody's going to try to weaponize it. And that's what I'm trying to avoid. Like, if my kid wants to express himself, if my kid wants to make content, by all means, let's run for the hills with it. It does.
Okay.
They're going to have to come, and I'm going to have to come too. Like, that's something I need to work on, with the understanding that there's going to be maybe moments in their career in which people are going to latch onto them and then be like, this is who you are. And they're not allowed to divert from the path. You know, the kind of the saying that a lot of YouTubers or veteran creators online will get, like, man, you've changed, man. Or, you know, that kind of comment, or like that, those things where it's like, I used to like watching you, or like, you're different. And it's said in a way that haunts you because you are different. But the way that they say it gives the connotation that that this difference is not growth, it is a regression. Like,
yeah, I see it two different ways. One
okay.
is there is an evolution to people, and sometimes you get new people that like what you're doing now, and so you lose some people that don't, that liked your old content better. Musicians and groups and artists have this when they have an evolution of music over a 10-year period. You know, I liked, was it Linkin Park's first stuff, and not necessarily their later ones. You know, decent example. But the other thing is, yes, it does. There is a connotation that, it's unfortunate that you know, any sort of you get locked in to something where you can't change without it being adversarious.
Yeah.
A good example of that is no, not Adam Sandler, but he would be another example. The guy who did The Mask and
Oh,
Ace
Jim
Ventura.
Carrey.
Jim Carrey. It is Carrey. I was like, Drew Carey? No, that's the other one.
Jim Carrey.
Yeah, so Jim Carrey, he got railroaded into doing funny things. He's very overt. He's very funny on screen. He is meant to play a role very, very well. He's done serious roles like The Majestic. It bombed. No one wants to see him in a serious role. Just even if he wants it.
Yeah. Like, another thing too, just to go back to that, or like to dig further into that in this specific case, is I don't think it's right for me to assume this, but this is the headspace I am in. You know, initially thinking about adopting a kid from the system, or just a young kid in general. They don't know who they want to be just yet, right? They're still figuring out. Like, I'm still trying to figure it out too. I'm still very young in, you know, the grand scheme of things. And I think unless you have a very good support system, unless there's, you know, a few core things about yourself, the things that you will hear online and the feedback you will get from strangers can be very damaging.
Yes.
So, again, I'm not saying I won't let them online, but I don't know if they'll be able to meet or flourish in a community like Mike's, where Mike Ray was the first online community I went into, and he was a father, so he treated me, you know, like the kid I was, which I am very grateful for. I had a very safe and wholesome experience because of that. I also have a background where I have IRL friends I can go to and say, you know, some very cancelable stuff, and then they'll be like, "Hey, man, you might want to reflect on that." And I go, "Oh, oops." You know what I mean? If I said that online, I wouldn't have that grace. I wouldn't have um, the
Oh yeah,
space to.
it's unfortunately, yeah,
Yeah,
as a comedian once said, but like what happens in Vegas stays on YouTube.
yeah. So, like, that's what I mean. It's just I, as the imaginary mother of this imaginary kid, am very afraid that somebody's going to say something that is not necessarily true, but true enough to their mind that it has them questioning who they are as a person. It's already so young in their life. And maybe deter them from becoming the person that they want to be, right? Again, it's that thing that I struggle with right now personally of, am I doing this for myself or for others? Am I doing this for my parents? Am I doing this, you know, for my friends? What am I actually pursuing in my life that is for me? And
That
online,
that is Yeah, that is
Yeah.
a very interesting question and answer to have. Some may have it easy to answer, some may not, but uh,
Yeah.
as I keep saying, an evolution of things, figuring it out, changing your mind. It's great. It's a wonderful thing that we have the ability to adapt and pursue and hopefully flourish once we figure it out.
Yeah, and another thing too, I haven't even brought this up yet, but like something that if I ever grow to such a scale, how often or how strongly will my kid be comparing their beginning career to mine online?
That is that is a thing. Yes.
Right, like that's another thing too. There's a lot of content creators who are trying to make a name for themselves, and then somebody in the comments are like, oh, just like this creator, or oh, you remind me of blah blah blah, or like, oh, your work that defines you reminds me of somebody else. And I know that stings creatives, right? Like when I started out, like in the very 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 beginning, people, I did have a good handful of comments. They're like, oh, Jaden 2.0, and I was like, ah. Again, nothing wrong with
Yes.
Jaden. She's incredible.
The
It's just,
discount Markiplier comes back to haunt me again.
yeah, like again, these are not said as negatives more often than not. It's just more of the, oh, somebody has already established this, and you are now by definition a spin-off.
Copycat derivative,
Yeah.
derivative
And
something.
again, if I become a prominent figure online, if I do become like a content creator full time, if for some reason that dream is allowed for me to pursue, that content will be online by the time my kid starts. Just imagine, for example, like PewDiePie's kid, and PewDiePie's kid wants to start making a YouTube channel. How much grace will they be allowed in developing their own personality, and how hard will they have to work to get away from their father's shadow to define themselves?
That's that is a challenge, but that might not be what they pursue. Who knows?
Maybe,
There
yeah.
might be.
This is just the idea of that. Like, again, these are
Yeah,
all hypotheticals. I don't know this kid yet, and I can't wait to know them. But these are the fears that I have standing as it is right now, with the possibility that they turn to me one day and say, "I want to be making content."
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's
Yeah,
not a
that's
no. It's a oh no.
oh boy. Yeah, I do understand, but I actually like welcome people trying new things. Too often do I hear a friend that I care for in a friendly way say, I'm stuck in bad situation. And it doesn't matter what things that they try, they end up being sucked back into that hole. And it seems, at least to my understanding, that the answer is to change everything. Where they are, who they are, like that's an answer, and it will be a way to get out of that hole. But it sucks because I don't want to suggest that to someone and them take me seriously, to the point where they don't succeed and then they blame me.
Well, that's the thing, though, right? Like, here, I'm going to push back against that just a little bit, because I personally am of the belief, and this is just from me, the best thing you can do as a friend is be honest, because that shows you care, and it also shows that you respect this individual to be able to handle what you say. For more than I like to admit, or really like to think about, more often than not, people see me and then they're like, oh, one, you're a girl, so I might have to be a little more fragile with you, and two, you're young, so naivety. And granted, I do have that naivety. And three, just this kind of misplaced need to protect. And the thing is, I am all these things. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
I personally believe you are doing more harm than good by not just telling me straight up, hey, this is a bad idea. Or, hey, I think you need to get out of this. Because for me, this is how I interpret it. You don't trust me to be able to come to my own conclusion by the words you give me. You don't trust me to figure out on my own with your input. So you give me filtered words to help lead me into a certain direction without trusting the mindset or thought process that I'm developing. And if I come to a conclusion that is wrong, or I come to a conclusion that differs from what you wanted from me, there is already this expectation or connotation that I will be angry at you for being honest with me. So there's already it's kind of a level of like one almost, I wouldn't say disrespect, but disbelief in oneself in the other, right? It's that, oh, I don't believe you can come to this conclusion on your own, so I'm going to gently guide you to it without just saying it straight up. And the other one is the belief that I will not want to respect you afterwards because something broke and now I'm bitter and angry and blah, 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 blah. Right? And for me personally, too many times in my life have I asked for honest feedback and I would get back some vague compliments of just keep going. No, I don't. Something is clearly not working. I'm coming to you because I respect you and I respect your opinion. You're a thing, you're a view outside looking in. Tell me, respect and believe in me enough to be able to handle the words you would say.
Okay.
That's me personally.
I don't have a rebuttal. I have a and moment.
Please do share.
I do keep in mind my friends, their abilities, their previous conversations, things that, hey, I try to be a better friend by learning something from an individual every day. Something that I've learned from you is I don't have to have the kid gloves. It's great. I can trust you. I am honest and to the point. It's great. It's great. You can't not only handle that, but
thank you.
You honestly take something and you look for answers more than blame things. Yeah. So I do enjoy that. And I do treat you in a way that I think is appropriate with that in mind. Just some people that I talked to that I was speaking of previously, I've just found out that some people respect my opinion where they do things beyond just it's weird when people look up to you.
Oh, I've had
somebody quit their job in order to catch me again at a convention.
Oh, that's dangerous.
Yes, so I have learned myself and a little bit more about them, and I am wary of the advice that I give. So that's what makes me wary. But that is like on a per individual basis of the individual. So that done. Moving on.
This is the rule of thumb I live by when I interact with people. You cannot say the wrong thing to the right person, because the right person will give you grace to explain what you said. I am a big proponent, and maybe this is my hot take, of I like people who just straight up say it. And some people don't like that, and some people use that as an excuse to say mean and belligerent stuff. But when people are straight up honest, when you ask them to be honest, I like that. And the way I interpret this rule of mine is if somebody says something to me that makes me do a double take, right? I will give them space to elaborate, to clarify. And if somebody does not give me the same grace back and they just start getting bitter or angry or kind of belligerent, they're not the right person to be around, because they're not going to allow me to be a person to make mistakes or clarify, the meaning of my words. So that's something in all of my interactions I hold to myself, and I kind of maybe unfairly hold to other people of the right person will always allow you to clarify your wrong before they pass judgment.
Okay.
So that's the standard of people I try to keep around, because I think that's a better way to live, because a life full of dishonesty is not really a life at all.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, that's a good answer. It's a good answer.
All right.
So, going in a related but different direction. When you make, what content do you make for yourself, regardless of other people like enjoy it or not? do you make content for yourself? Do you do something to, just have like a poster of your own characters kind of deal? Anything? Do you do anything for yourself?
Oh,
Artistic or
what
otherwise?
what a beautifully hellish question. What a beautiful question that will haunt me for the end of time. I'm so glad you asked that, and I'm so terrified. In many ways, Amber is mine, right? It's
Okay.
the thing about who this character I've been online through its many iterations and variations has always been me, in some sense, coming up with who I want to be. And I know that's very strange, seeing how my character's a marshmallow looking like guy, but I do like the story or like the concept and all those things behind this voice crack behind this individual because it's like the whole thing with Amber is she has no story. She's not a character. She was never meant to be finished. She is an iteration of a concept that was abandoned. And I like the idea of something that was abandoned. Not saying I'm abandoned, but like just this thing of like pursuing self-determination, basically. Like, what happens if you're truly given nothing? With this character that I am depicting, that is of myself in a sense, right? Because I am Amber Online. Will this character be able to come up with a story that they want to have, where they want to be a character in? And whether or not they want to be the main character in that story. Or heck, are they okay just being a sketch walking through other people's stories? Like, Amber is a tangible medium that allows me to explore these what ifs and hypotheticals that I can never explore in real life, right? So she is me. It's that thing of like, how like guys have like a maybe possibly like a body type they want to achieve, or like girls have a makeup look that they want to achieve. Amber is just kind of a concept I want to achieve, of somebody who has no idea what's going to happen next, but they keep moving forward because they can. They have no definition. They have, they weren't given their own name. They weren't given an identity. They weren't given an expectation. If anything, they were expected not to make it.
IDK.
IDK. So Amber was made for me. And I would argue, because I haven't posted these stories yet, all the stories of my, my worlds of, for example, Blood Spatter and Rascal, of Tim and Clover, characters that you know of, but the viewers don't.
These are all characters, by the way. Every one of those names were not just.
Yeah, no. I don't know an individual named Blood Spatter. But like writing, storytelling, like true fantasy. The thing about writing I love so much is it allows me to explore in different contexts that would never exist in reality, the what if. So those are for me that I am so excited to share. The things that I make online for people are storytime videos right now, or like little. They're still stories, ironically, but they're stories I've experienced that I'm like, this will be funny. Or this right here, like, you are my friend first and foremost. We have conversations offline that I truly love and enjoy, and I don't ever see the need to publish because our friendship is first and foremost. But like having these dialogues where we discuss the what if, where we have a story of opinions and options and perspectives on things, and sharing that with the world, I think that's one, important for us, but two, is also important for people who are also trying to figure it out. And yeah, like, stories I hold dear to me. Nothing will change that.
Okay.
How about you?
Do I have something that I create that is for me, not for content? Oh boy. I was not prepared for my own question.
It'd be like that.
Okay. Well, my friends. I put a lot of effort into my friends, and that is definitely I don't want to say it's only for me. It is a mutual benefit. I hope that people feel wanting to be my friends. Actually, people vie for my time online, and it is a little bit of a hassle, but it is a good hassle to have. I think the thing that I do work on most, is having a good set of friends. I have DJs, I have artists, I have some that are neither, some that are writers, some that are RP related friends.
I'm sorry.
But most of them...
I don't mean to interject. P?
RP.
RP. Okay, I was like, what? Sorry, no, you threw me in a loop right there for a second. I was like, I did not know you had that diversity of friends.
Yes. No, role play.
Okay. My bad. I'm sorry.
Okay. I see. They're not liquid.
Thank you for the clarification. I was, not gonna lie, a little worried.
Okay. But I'm always in seeking new friends because honestly, something that I teach or instruct or motivates people is that you don't know who your next best friend is going to be until it's too late.
Dun, dun, dun.
It really do be like that. Had some that I just found, just like, oh, look, this person's waiting for no one, but they're standing behind the group of people that are talking to me. Let me see if they want to say something. One arm shoved everyone to the side and be like, hey, you've been waiting. Did you want to like talk to me? And then they started talking and they haven't stopped. They're one of my best friends now.
I'm glad. I actually had a very similar story, but in the opposite direction. When I was in high school, I was a very angry individual. And I think rightfully so, because everyone there was fake. Or it was a very bad environment, I think, to put kids in, because they very much pushed academia first and foremost in the forefront of everyone's life. They put SAT scores, ACT scores. They broke up the student body based on who performed the best on like these metrics. And they kept, the quote unquote smart kids together, so they continued to compete with each other. And they kind of let those who didn't perform so well on tests fall behind, right? They had their star performers that they kept together, corralled. And I was one of those, and I hated it. And this girl, love her to death, incredible person, one of my best friends now, showed up one day, sat next to me because I ate lunch by myself because I was just so angry. And just like, I like you, you're loud. And I went, who the hell are you?
You're loud, wow.
And she's just like, you're a front stabber. You don't really you haven't lied to anyone. You just yell at their face. And I'm like, why are you here? And she's like, I don't know. I just kind of like that vibe. And I'm just like, you shouldn't. Go away. And she's just like, no. And I'm so glad she didn't. Because she's an incredible person who I look up to, basically the human version of a angry snarling dog. I actually had a nickname in high school that some people called me. I don't think it was like a widespread thing, but I heard it enough times to be like, oh, okay. Or people called me Mad Dog. I was like,
oh, goody.
Great. Sounds like a biker name. Don't have the Zeke. I guess we're gonna run with it. Yeah, and the thing was, this individual that is now one of my closest friends, she was unfortunately typecasted as somebody who was dumber. Because she had a more creative background, or she wasn't maybe the best on test, performing on test. So I would not have met her if she never came up to me. And that makes me so sad, because I think I missed out on a lot of amazing people that could have been my friend, because we were always separated based on metrics.
Oh.